You all know Jeremy from early on from Reddit and later on from Netflix, but you're no longer there. Actually doing something with Peter.
Yes.
So tell us about that.
Okay. We are actually starting a company called CloudNative.io. And we are basically helping people implement their cloud solutions by being their DevOps team for them.
So how much of this comes from, let's say, your past? Yeah.
So a lot of it comes from my past. A lot of it comes from what I learned at Netflix, what I learned from Reddit, what we did wrong in both places. So a lot of it is trying to help people build a good, proper microservices architecture, take advantage of the cloud.
Okay.
Right? Because a lot of people, they use the cloud as like just a rented data center, which is like the worst way to use the cloud.
Absolutely. Thank you for making that point, by the way. Yeah. No. If you treat it like a server, then you lose.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, you lose all the advantages that you can get. You can turn off the light, by the way. Yeah, it's things like that. At Netflix, you were originally reliability architect.
Yeah.
What did that mean?
So when I got to Netflix, there wasn't really a reliability team, in large part because the company had been for 10 years a company that did DVDs, and if the website was down for a few hours, it was a big deal, but it wasn't like a huge deal, right? So it started to become a problem if the website would go down, and people didn't really know. You know, the only way we knew was customer service calls came. So I joined up as the reliability engineer. The idea was to make our service more reliable, stay up longer.
Not just the website. I mean,
not just the website, the entire streaming service.
Yeah, okay, good. So one of the things that you guys did at Netflix was move to a multi-region approach.
Yes.
Can you tell us something about that?
Yeah. So that started on Christmas of 2012. Yeah. Just because, for no reason at all, and.
It's okay. We'll
but essentially, we decided that it was really important for us to be able to run in multiple regions and be able to shift rapidly from one region to the next.
Yeah.
So we made a big push and re-architected a lot of our software to be able to run in multiple regions, and then we started testing it by actually shifting traffic rapidly from one region to the next and see what happens.
Yeah, it was not a DR solution. It was truly a live solution in two regions.
Yes, it's absolutely live. Everything is live in both regions. Because a DR solution, the problem with it is you don't know if it works unless you test it very often. But the best way to test it often is just run it live all the time.
Okay. So, how did the input into that? So, did you use was it Route 53 to actually just distribute traffic, or did you have your own solution there?
So the traffic distribution is at the time was based actually on Ultra DNS using their geolocation, and then that hit Route 53, which had a couple of layers, so that there was as few changes to DNS as possible when we needed to shift traffic, because as we all know, DNS changes take a while to propagate. Some people don't honor TTLs, things like that. So we wanted to make it as limited to DNS interaction as possible.
Cool. Well, so let's, now that we've talked a bit about your new company.
Yeah.
What was the name again?
CloudNative.
CloudNative. Okay. Let's talk a bit about you.
Okay.
How did you get started in technology?
How I got started in technology? Well, that was way back a long time ago when my dad bought an original IBM PC, because I'm older than I look. And, he brought that home and he just put it out there, let me play with it. I was like 7 years old, whatever. And that's how I got started way back in the day. When I was a teenager, I was doing some consulting, helping people with their what is it? Which database was it? ACT 123 or something like that. And their Novell networks, things like that. But really, I got into technology pretty deeply when I got to Berkeley and I started working in the dorms, helping people with their computers, and then eventually like setting up our computer centers and stuff like that.
Okay.
Doing networking.
So you're still the guy that people go through if their PC needs to be fixed?
Not for Windows anymore, because I actually haven't touched a Windows machine in years. But.
Okay. You clearly are going to do in your new company a lot of DevOps work.
Yeah.
So also probably at Netflix as well, building software that needs to be operated versus software that needs to be shipped is radically different software development.
Right.
Yeah?
Right.
So can you tell us a bit about the secrets of how do you build software that needs to be always on and actually be operatable?
So at Netflix, the secret is the platform, right? And the platform makes it so that a developer at Netflix, the only thing they have to do is check in their code, and it runs a machine that runs their code. That's the ultimate goal. Now, some people dive in and do a lot more to it, but the goal is a platform that just lets them do that. And that's actually what we're building with our company too, is this platform so that you just check in your code. But that's the big secret. Is making
So that
it
you don't have to worry about operations.
Yeah,
Is that what you're saying?
The developer worries as little about operations as possible. They mostly just worry about how their software is performing.
Okay. So one of the key things that I always think about when I think about operations is that stuff should be automatable.
Yes,
Yeah?
automation is huge.
So automation is crucial. But you say that developers don't have to think about the automation part of things because it will be automated for them?
It's provided by the platform. So all that automation that makes things reliable and repeatable is already there for them, so they don't have to worry about it.
So are there things on your wish list for AWS?
As someone who's newly a partner integration would be great. Right now, it's only 19 easy steps for us to get IAM access to another person's account. So it would be great if we could reduce that to just a few less.
Make a note of that one.
But I mean, that's a big one, is partner integration.
Darn, I would have expected something technical.
So I have a technical answer too,
Okay.
actually, which is visibility. So, I know a lot of the Amazon services are designed to just be sort of like use the service and it'll work, but when you're really pushing them to the limits, it really would be helpful to have deeper visibility into kind of what's happening, like my load balancers or my networking, like firewall drops, things like that. It'd be great to be able to see that stuff, to know what's going on. That would be my wish list. Is just
the thing is that
better
the goal of course having services is that you shield people from it.
Exactly.
Yeah, so there's the balance to have there, because the moment that you start giving bigger visibility, you have to almost expose parts of the architecture of how things are being built.
Right.
And then it becomes very hard to change that. Yeah. So the more you show, the more you're locked into it. Because the APIs are one thing. APIs are forever. But the architectures behind it should be allowed to change.
Right,
Yeah.
and that's the reason that's always been given, right? Is we want to be able to change the architecture.
Okay, Jeremy.
Yes.
Thank you very much for being a great partner of the community, and thanks for being here.
All right, thanks, sir.